KRWG Public Media's Election 2025 coverage continues. With GO Bonds, Doñana County voters will decide November 4th. I'm Casey Counts, and later in the program, Scott Brocato will talk with Las Cruces Public Schools Superintendent Ignacio Ruiz. Abigail Salas will update us on early voting. And now I'm joined by Doñana County Assistant Manager Stephen Lopez, who will explain what impacts voters can expect from the proposed GO bond on the ballot. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Casey.
Why don't you start by just telling us what is a general obligation bond?
A general obligation bond is an opportunity for the voters to invest in projects that are taking place, in this case, around the county. It basically applies a property tax for a set number of years, and based on that, we're able to fund projects that, in this case, people have been asking about for a long time.
This is a first for the county, is it not?
This is really the first for the county. We've done some small bonds, like to build the county government center, but if you ask me, that really wasn't about the residents. This one is really focused on the residents, and you're right, this is the first time we've done something like this.
And $140 million is the total for the bond, so let's talk about how that will impact property taxes.
For somebody who has what we call an average house price in Doñana County, and that's $285,000, we're looking at somewhere between $14 and $15 a month increase in property taxes if both GO bonds go through and we take advantage of the full $140 million. We don't have to necessarily, and if only one bond passes, then obviously it's going to be a lot less than that.
Can you tell us how those two bonds are different?
The first bond that voters will have an opportunity to weigh in on is kind of an umbrella bond that really is focused on quality of life throughout Doñana County. The probably biggest portion of that is the ability to develop some multi-purpose centers in key areas of the county that have things like recreation, that have remote county offices, that have things that voters have told us really can make a difference, like swimming pools, being able to have a place where kids can learn how to swim safely, having things, and this was one that surprised me, laundromats, where they just don't exist in the rural parts of the county, and where a family can go to the rec center, somebody can be doing the laundry for the family while everybody else has a safe place to enjoy themselves for a couple of hours.
Maybe the kids will be the ones to do the laundry, what do you?
Yes, I think that would be great for kids to learn how to do laundry. It would certainly make a difference when they're at college.
The second bond question reads, shall Doñana County issue up to $35 million in bonds for acquiring, planning, construction, and equipping of event venue upgrades at the county fairgrounds to include facility improvements, conversion of the old speedway to an amphitheater, and road access improvements along the planned High Mesa Road? Let's get back to the tax impact, because I know a lot of people have an immediate and strong negative reaction when we talk about increasing property taxes, especially at a time of economic uncertainty and when people are being impacted by inflation and a government shutdown and who knows what else. What is your message to Doñana County voters?
This is their decision to make. This is not the county government's decision, this is theirs, and we certainly understand that there is hesitancy about paying more, and especially when people sometimes feel they don't have enough detail to feel comfortable with. And in this case, that is understandable, because we're not saying we're going to do this and this is what the building's going to look like, because all of that takes planning, and we need the voters to tell us first if they even want to move forward. If they do, that's when all the planning with community will take place.
So let's talk about some of the areas that you see being impacted specifically around the county. Are there some specific locations that we might be eyeing?
We have a number of community centers, 14 of them spread throughout the county right now. Some of them are in pretty good shape, some of them definitely not. Some of them get heavy use, some of them do not. This will be an opportunity for us to do some refreshes on some of those, do some expansions where we're getting a lot more use, as well as, again, look at those two big key centers that we're looking at, probably one in the northern portion of the county and one in the southern portion of the county. And when I say northern portion of the county, that could be Doña Ana, so not really that far away from Las Cruces, so where people can still go and enjoy that. Southern part of the county, we've got a lot of people who live in Chaparral, in Anthony, in Sunland Park, in Santa Teresa, La Union, Mesquite, Vado, and they really have to travel to get to anything. And so that one may be a little more centrally located to better serve all of those residents. And we're really looking forward to the opportunity to engage in more discussion. We've had some community meetings to find out the general things that people would be looking for, but now if the voters approve it, we will really start getting into the details of designing something that they really want.
Let's talk about that process. Assuming the voters do approve the GO bonds, what will that process look like?
If they do approve it, then starting with our board retreat, which happens later in November, we will be developing that formal plan for going out in community, but it will absolutely be more engagement with community about specific locations, specific features that might be in some of these. One of the things we, during our initial discussions with community, really found is people want a lot of splash pads. And that's actually pretty easy to do. And so we might be able to do splash pads at many of our community centers. So that might not be something that's just one or two here and there, but really be able to get things like that into community. And then we need to ask community, do you want that splash pad open, or do you want some shade over that splash pad so that it can be used in our hot summer days without the risk of sunburn?
So there's a finite amount of money that comes out of the bond issue. How will we balance how that money gets spent equally around the county?
That's a great question, and again, that comes back to community voice. That's going to depend on what people are telling us that they want. And we fully expect that for a northern center, that may be very different than what people down south might want. And that's okay, and that'll be the challenge that the Board of County Commissioners and county management have, is to how to balance those needs within that finite pool. The nice thing is, the GO bond isn't the only way to finance these things, but it is a major way to finance these types of projects.
There's got to be some folks, both in the northern part of the county and the southern part of the county, which were both impacted by flash flooding between the late spring and summer, who are saying, we really need more infrastructure to prevent tragedies like this. And so this is pie in the sky stuff that we need to be focused on more important issues now. What is your message to folks?
We certainly understand that desire and the really need to be safe. And that includes safety from, like you mentioned, floods and any other type of natural disasters that might occur. We do have access to other funds for that type of operation. And that's also something that shouldn't be on the backs of residents to pay for. That's an obligation of government. And so our Board of County Commissioners has already taken action in authorizing us to do a number of things to start alleviating some of those hazards, and that'll be continuing.
And one thing the county did was establish this emergency housing fund. Can you say how that's impacted people so far?
So far, the county has given out over $200,000 to people who had impacts to their housing as a result of the flooding in the Vado and Del Cerro areas of Barreno, as well as in Rincon. And that was very impactful. Not only did it occur quickly, it allowed FEMA, when they came in, to piggyback on us, and FEMA has actually already started issuing checks, an average of $12,000 per check. And normally, that doesn't happen for about 18 months. In our case, it's happened in only 4 months. So it's been really impactful getting not just that immediate funding to them, but then that follow-up funding. And we're really looking forward to seeing how we might be able to continue improving those types of emergency responses.
I think it's fair to say that a lot of people feel like they didn't get a chance necessarily to get fully informed and necessarily have their voices fully heard when it came to the choice on Project Jupiter. Are you concerned that that could have an impact at the ballot box on November 4th?
That's a great question, because we have heard confusion between the industrial revenue bond and general obligation bonds, and people confusing the term of what those two bonds are. Is there a possibility that people who are upset with the IRB process may vote against the general obligation bond. Absolutely, that is a possibility. I think that our Board of County Commissioners did a good job of ensuring that meeting that happened on the 19th when they ultimately voted to approve the industrial revenue bond, which is not on the back of taxpayers. They took every minute that they needed to ensure that everybody who wanted to speak got that opportunity to speak. Now, some people may still be dissatisfied with the outcome, but we've actually heard a lot of people who are very positive about the outcome and are looking forward to, in particular, the jobs. We've heard of thousands of people who are looking forward to that opportunity, especially with the unions.
I'm glad you brought that up. In what way do you think the bonds would support jobs in the county?
Well, we know for sure that we've got the 750 guaranteed permanent jobs that will be coming with it, and we know that's a guarantee because it's in writing. If for some reason they don't follow through with that, the county gets to pull back all of those tax breaks. So that's locked in solid. We also know that for a couple of years there will be at least 2,500 people employed on the construction side. And not only does that help people who have immediate skills that can go straight in and help with construction from the various trades, it also gives an opportunity to provide training and get people developed up from apprentice all the way to journeyman so that we have a sustained workforce for the next project that we hope comes around.
Well, let's switch back to the GO bonds, but stay on the same topic because there is also a jobs aspect to the GO bond. I'd like for you to talk about how that can inspire a growth of jobs in the county.
Well, one of the things that we're really looking at is how we can spur economic development, because as we grow the economy, we grow businesses, we grow opportunities in Doña Ana County, all of us become more successful. And one of the things that we've really found over the last year and a half, 2 years, is we've got an ability to make a difference, especially for small businesses. It's not just about the big businesses. And so being able to build business incubators, being able to have areas where people can come in and check out a room for a few hours so they can hold a business meeting for a business that otherwise operates out of their house, but they don't want people coming into their home. And that's some of the things that we can build into these multi-purpose centers so that we can really be supporting everything from the small business all the way up to the large businesses.
And I'd like to spend the last couple of minutes that we have getting back to really the heart of the issue that hurts when people hear a raise in property taxes. So tell us those numbers again, just for anyone who maybe didn't catch them at the beginning of the program.
For that average house in the $285,000 range, that's going to be an impact of about $14 to $15 per month. And so if you are not in an average house, you can kind of adjust those numbers up and down to get a sense of what it would be for you.
And what types of means of respite do we have for folks who are in a real pinch in the county?
Well, one of the things that we do try to provide, again, is that opportunity for people to challenge. We've also got several different ways that people can get reductions on their property tax, that head of household credit. We just passed veterans credits now that also alleviate property taxes. And so if any of those might apply, or people are looking at, hey, what might apply to help reduce my property taxes, we encourage them to contact us or contact the assessor's office, which is where they'll actually file those requests at Doña Ana County.
And that's doñana.gov. Folks can find out more information on that, and also the GO bond issue.
That is correct.
And anything that you think that is important for people to know that maybe I haven't asked you about yet?
Again, this is really about what people have been asking us, the county, to do for them. And so we're giving them this opportunity to make that decision. Is this what they would like to see? This is what we've been hearing. There's nothing to do in our area. There are no places for me to take my kids and be safe. This provides those opportunities. If the voters tell us this is indeed the way they want to proceed forward, this is just the beginning.
All right. Well, Assistant Doña Ana County Manager Stephen Lopez, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Casey.
And stay tuned to hear from Las Cruces Public Schools Superintendent Ignacio Ruiz, who talks with Scott Brocato about another GO bond. Election Day is now less than 2 weeks away. KRWG Public Media Local News Fellow Abigail Salas caught up with Doña Ana County Clerk Dr. Amanda Lopez Askin to see how brisk early voting has been since it began October 7th.
Voters will be able to decide municipal races like judges and city council, school board races, and GO bonds. Doña Ana County Clerk Dr. Amanda Lopez Askin explained why it is important for people to vote.
A lot of times the local races are the ones that affect us the most.
Askin said that 6,000 absentee ballots have been mailed out. This number has gone up now that absentee voters are able to be put on a permanent absentee voter list.
Kind of a slow pace, it ticking up toward the election, because people know that, November 4th, which is election day, that it is going to be crowded at some of the locations, which we love. We don't like waits, but we love crowds and we love people voting. And so they're going to expect a little bit of wait on election day. That's why we highly encourage early voting.
Early voters have been coming in and out of the county building. I spoke with 3 sisters who told me about why they came out to vote.
Because I can. Why not? Earlier, better than later.
How can you complain if you don't vote?
Same-day registration is available. Identification and proof of residency is required in that case. According to Lopez Askin, those who have already registered only need to identify themselves, verify their identity, sign, and then head in to vote. Helen Talma shared her experience.
Very easy, staff very polite, helpful.
Doña Ana County offers in-person voting and same-day registration at the Doña Ana County Government Center Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. There are also 8 extended early voting locations around the county, and those sites run Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 7.
If you are a registered voter in Doña Ana County, or meet the qualifications of a voter, you have a ballot waiting for you. If you think, oh, I live in the county, I don't vote. Yes, you do. There's bonds, there's school board races.
DACelections.com has information on voting locations, important dates, and more. Early voting ends Saturday, November 1st. Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th. For KRWG Public Media, I'm Abigail Salas.
KRWG Public Media's Election 2025 coverage continues with the GO Bond for Las Cruces Public Schools. I'm Scott Brocato, and Las Cruces Public Schools Superintendent Ignacio Ruiz joins us now to talk about what that means for voters and students. Well, Ignacio, it is a $65 million GO Bond question and mill levy renewal, November 4th ballot, yes. No tax rate increase. What do you want voters to know about the contents of the GO Bond before going to the polls? Like, what would it include, etc.?
Well, great. Thank you, Scott, again for the opportunity to be here. I think one of the most important things about this is that these resources, these dollars, are so important for a few things. Number one of our priorities with this GO Bond dollars, or these monies, will be to renovate Mayfield High School. So this will help us to be able to get to that phase 1 piece of Mayfield High School as in our goal of renovating and rebuilding our next big project of Mayfield. Some of the other pieces that the GO Bond will be important for is for classrooms, for just different projects that we are not able to fund with our operational dollars. As a state, in the state funding, we don't receive extra dollars for these type of projects. So cafeteria or kitchen remodeling, classroom remodeling, just different projects, buildings, etc.
Beyond the Mayfield High School.
Beyond the Mayfield High
renovation.
School, correct.
So that is, a $200 million estimated renovation, Mayfield High?
Yes.
What will that entail?
So part of that is looking at, it's not going to be a total demolition. We're looking at the potential of being able to leverage some of the buildings and keep some of the buildings that are currently there, not only for the historical piece of that, but also looking at how we can ensure that we keep our costs down. But with materials and everything, the costs have gone up since post-COVID, or even since our last build of Las Cruces High School, and so we're estimating about $200 million for that.
And how will that be split? You mentioned part of that, if the GO bond passes.
Yes.
Part of it would go towards that. How else would that be divvied?
So right now we're able to leverage also state dollars. So in these type of projects, usually there is availability of funds through the state on the what is called the PSFA monies on the state level, and there's a split of 57% to 43%. 57% on the district side, 43% on the state side. So that means for us approximately $114 million that we need to come up with to be able to get this project to completion. And so part of the GO bond, $20 million of that would be prioritized to be able to get started with the phase one. The other things, the other pieces to this is also our own financial, being able to leverage our own, being a little bit more financially savvy with our projects. So for example, if there's any cost savings in any other projects across the district, those monies would be directed over to the Mayfield project.
Well, recently you gave a community update inside the Mayfield cafeteria. How did that go, and what were some of the concerns from the people at that meeting that you were speaking with?
Yeah, it was a great opportunity just really to ensure that the community understands the magnitude of this and the time it takes. And some of the questions and concerns and challenges that came up is, first of all, the cost and then the time. But just to remind our community, as I mentioned earlier, Las Cruces High School, our most current large build, took about 9 years. It was a 9-year phased in approach, which is what we're looking at, for Mayfield. Of course, we'd love to get this done sooner. But again, knowing that we need to ensure that we're leveraging our state dollars, we don't have $114 million right now to be able to get this project completed in a couple of years. So those are some of the questions that we were able to clarify. Also, the other challenge is being able to ensuring that we're not moving kids to other schools, so that we would keep our kids where they are, and that's why it's a phased-in project, to be able to ensure that education continues as we get this off the ground.
And about how many, what will be some of the other phases? You mentioned phase one earlier.
So phase one gets us to the design, and the first piece of the construction piece is looking at doing all the analysis that needs to be done on the soil and getting some of the construction already into place as well. When we have this money available, that also triggers us to be able to access the state dollars, because for us to be able to trigger state dollars, we have to have some money on our end to be able to trigger those dollars. So think about it as kind of like a bank account of about $80 million, but as we have the monies on our side, then we're able to pull from that money as well.
All right. Well, aside from the GO bond and the renovation, tell me about anything else new that is going on with Las Cruces Public Schools.
Yeah. So again, the bond is going to be very important, to get some of our projects off the ground. But some exciting news. We just had some student achievement data that was announced on the state side this past week, and we're seeing some great gains in our literacy, specifically in our literacy outcomes, as well as our math. Several of our schools are being recognized for being the top tier of the state in regards to growth, with regards to literacy and some of the math, and so we're very excited for that work, and really just a testament of the hard work our principals, our teachers, and as a system and as an organization in where we're headed. We just completed first year of our strategic plan, of our new instructional framework, and we're already seeing the benefits and the impact that is having. As a matter of fact, we'll be putting a media release out here probably this week to let the community know and celebrate this great achievement.
All right. Well, Ignacio Ruiz, Superintendent of Las Cruces Public Schools, we appreciate you coming in to talk about this, the GO bond, again on the ballot on the November 4th election. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
And thanks for watching Election 2025 coverage here on KRWG Public Media. You can find all our candidate forums and interviews as they come in at krwg.org. You can find voter information at nmvote.org. Early voting continues and Election Day is November 4th. Thanks for joining us.